Freedom Schools opened during the first week of July 1964. They were originally part of a nationwide effort during the Civil Rights Movement to organize African Americans to achieve social, political, and economic equality in the United States. In late 1963, Charles Cobb, a student of the Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, proposed the organization sponsor a network of freedom schools. The concept of freedom schools had been decided by educators and activists prior to the summer of 1964. The freedom schools were conceptualized with both political and educational objectives. The teachers educated elementary and high school students to become social change agents that would participate in the ongoing fight for civil rights. The curriculum was divided into a few core areas that analyzed the social, political, and economic context of precarious race relations and the civil rights movement. Leadership development was encouraged, in addition to more traditional academic skills. The education at Freedom Schools was student-centered and culturally relevant. Today, Freedom Schools exist because of the leadership of Marion Wright Edelman. Mrs. Edelman was the first Black woman to practice law in Mississippi and was involved in the Civil Rights Movement. Her entire professional life has been devoted to serving disadvantaged Americans. The most significant evidence of her devotion was through founding the Children's Defense Fund. With children being the poorest people in the country, she recognized the need for change in communities and education. Through Children's Defense Fund, modern-day freedom schools began opening in 1995. Today, freedom schools across the country give children hope and inspire them to learn.
We got something to say.
Through freedom schools, we're able to influence public education in the state of Minnesota. Folks say, oh man, we just don't know, like how to close these gaps and, between white students and students of color. And I think that's false.
The curriculum it's beyond culturally relevant, it's racially relevant and racially conscious, so that the material speaks to a far broader group of students than your standard school year curriculum usually does.
I would say Freedom Schools is a lot different from other schools just because of mainly the energy that we start our day with. We always start with Harambe, and so that really gets the energy of our scholars really up there.
Our cheers and chants and our read alouds, and then we are off to our integrated reading curriculum, which we have 2 sessions of that.
And within that curriculum, there are some group activities that students get to do. So it's not just about, sitting with a book by yourself and figuring it out. There's a lot of cooperation that goes into some activities that they get to do with the books. And then also in the afternoon, we have our SLIs, or our servant leader interns, create some activities that are geared to keeping them engaged for the rest of the afternoon. So they might be doing Zumba, they might be doing some obstacle courses. So there's a whole variety, and we get at kind of every part of our scholars.
The thing that makes the IRC completely different is we ask them questions like, why and how would this affect you, and what are the repercussions of this person's action, so that they can start building a more critical thinking on their own instead of being told the answers.
We read this book, The Skin I'm In. It's about a girl, Malika, who's in 7th grade, and people tease her by her dark skin. But when I started reading that book, I was really devastated because I knew that everyone needs to be treated the same, even if you're black or white or mixed. And at the end of the book, it was really touching because people knew that you have to appreciate who the person really is.
Going to Freedom School, I learned so many different things about my history, and I developed a sense of pride about who I was. And so that was one of the things that I always would cherish from the program. And I know that the Freedom Schools program is very intentional in making scholars aware of this history, aware of and being proud of this culture.
At my old school at Beaver Lake, I wasn't good at reading. I had low scores on my reading test. Then when I came here, I was improving because they got from average books into harder books. It's helping me because I get to read more books and understand the meaning of it. And at the end of Freedom School, they're gonna test us how we improved.
We're a bilingual school, and so our mission is driven on, being bicultural, biliterate.
We do embrace all cultures, but we really focus on the Latino culture. And not only that, we've gone to the point where we are developing a DI program, dual immersion program, and then we do have services in Spanish.
Being here specifically at the site, we can help them read books about people who look like them.
By teaching them where they come from and who they are, that gives them a lot of self-confidence, and they can hold their head up higher and walk through life knowing, I know who I am because I know where I came from, and that's where it starts.
What I really liked about the Freedom School model that made me want to bring it here, well, number one, that it was a proven model that has a lot of outcome data existing, that it really works for students. It has the academic component in the morning that really is culturally adaptable, and then the afternoon, the ability to do academic enrichment activities that would be culturally specific and really fun for our students.
Everywhere Freedom Schools has been for the last 20 years, it's been very successful. Our national motto is called Harambe in the morning, which means let's pull together, but we renamed it to kind of fit our community, and it's called Abajishin, and it means he or she comes alive again. We have a round dance, we'll smudge, we'll offer tobacco, which is a traditional medicine that we use for giving thanks and saying prayer.
The boys came to be known as Monster Slayer and Child Born of Water. As the two boys grew, it troubled them that there were so many monsters in the world.
And then they go into what's called the IRC, which is the Integrated Reading Curriculum, which we use our native-themed curriculum for 2.5 hours in the morning. We also incorporate a lot of cultural activities in the afternoon. So we have lacrosse as one of our cultural activities. We have Ojibwe and Dakota language.
Earth or ground, who remembers?
Makcha.
Again, almost.
Makcha.
Ma-ka.
I said makcha.
Everybody, ma-ka. All right.
Those students, some of them may be very knowledgeable about their culture and some may not be. They may be very disconnected from their culture and their identity. But if they're disconnected, a lot of them really hunger to know more.
So what makes this Freedom School unique is strictly the STEM content. For our STEM Freedom School, our afternoon activity component is strictly related to all STEM activities. We like to throw in the A to make it STEAM for arts.
So every week we have a theme. So we have environmental science, we did biology, we did media and technology. So basically we'll come up with 4 activities. We teach 4 days here, and we'll have a different activity that corresponds with a different theme. And that gives each of the kids like a little bit of insight into that field, because as you know, STEM careers are heavily white male populated. So we're just trying to get these kids the opportunity to get into those fields themselves. So we just give them a little splurge into it so that they know.
The scholars read books that represent them. They see people who teaching them who are representations of their communities, of their environments. We select field trips that kind of coincide with the weekly theme. We'll go to a different museum. As a science museum, scholars get to participate in the science museum and either have a discounted rate or not pay at all, because they are part of what our Kitty Anderson Youth Science Center program. Children's Defense Fund requires each site to have weekly parent involvement nights. After our community dinner, we go into our speakers for the night. The whole focus of our parent empowerment nights is to reach all of the parents and share and build with each other. So even as educators, we are learning from our parents, and we are also giving back to our parents.
They're not just continue to help educate our children, they're helping educate the parents as well. And I find it beneficial for both parents and students to be able to be involved with this program.
I believe Freedom School is a family and it is a movement, and just coming, being a part of the programming, and the parent empowerment meetings, just coming and being ready to learn.
So, we got something to say.
So a finale is the combination of all of our weeks and a presentation to the parents by the scholars.
The children are excited. The children are part of the learning. The children are part of the curriculum. They see themselves in the curriculum. Yes, there's a great fervor for learning every day.
Can't keep saying that we don't know what works. We know what works for kids of color and American Indians, and it's just time that we put the resources and the drive behind that.
We constantly get testimonies from parents that once their scholar goes back to school the following school year, their scholar is more active as a student, and they're performing and excelling in the classroom.
You come here is going to show you an opportunity that you can do so many things of your life.
Lord, I cannot preach like Martin Luther King Jr. or turn a poetic phrase like Maya Angelou, but I care and am willing to serve. I do not have Fred Shuttleworth and Harriet Tubman's courage, or Eleanor and Franklin Roosevelt's political skills, but I care and am willing to serve.
People often ask me, how in the world do you keep doing this year after year, and why did you ever choose to do this? I said it never occurred to me not to do it, and it wouldn't occur to me ever to give up.
It will blind you, because there's something inside so strong, so strong. I know that I can make it, though you're doing me wrong, so wrong. If all that my pride was gone, oh no. Something inside so strong. Oh, something inside so strong. Brothers and sisters, when they insist we're